Hypocrisy unveiled. During our school days, our teachers equated hypocrisy to corruption and many other vices that one should never inculcate. These vices were the sins that would take you to hell after death, they told us. We believed them wholeheartedly. Actually, at that tender age, we did not know what was meant by hypocrisy. Over time, I learned it on my own as I started reading people. And I learned it from the very same teacher who had scared us about the hell. It was time to give the annual exam of the 7th standard, the last class of the primary school. Before the exam, he held a meeting of the entire class, excluding me, and told them to help one another in writing the exam papers. He did not want anybody to fail and bring disgrace to the school. I learned this from my bosom friend who attended this meeting. This was exactly the opposite of what he had taught us for so many years, that copying in the exam was a sin. I gathered my knowledge of hypocrisy slowly during the high school years. The speed of learning increased as I grew older and came across a variety of people at various stages. So, here I am to share with you my lessons in hypocrisy. To be a hypocrite, you have to develop a discrepancy in your speech and action. In other words, say what you do not mean. You may say something on a public platform and behave just the opposite in your private life. This could be anything from praise to criticism. You may raise an objection to the second word, namely criticism. But believe me, there are some who criticize you just to show their superiority or undermine you in front of others. But they know from the bottom of their heart that they are criticizing just for namesake. Thus, you have to be an opportunist to be a hypocrite. At times, if you fall short of words to criticize, you would do well in just flatly ignoring the person and its work by not uttering a single word about it. Why do you think people take shelter in hypocrisy? That's because they want the first of the best and the best of the last. Come what may, they have to get it at any cost. That's why hypocrisy and corruption always go hand in hand. Politicians the world over are the best teachers in hypocrisy. My knowledge of politicians does not go beyond the boundaries of India. But one thing is certain, unless you are a hypocrite, you cannot survive in politics. I do not know any politician personally. I have always stayed away from them. I do not even attend their public rallies because their public speeches are meant for the media and the masses are paid to attend the rallies. All that they say is just the opposite of their thought and action. Just recently, I read about the ex chief minister of a state who refused to visit the place where there was a mass murder of a few people. The reason? The deceased belonged to the upper castes. Hypocrisy is at its best when you meet parties who are enemies of each other. In their motive to please the both, the hypocrites criticize you not only behind your back but also in front of your enemies. Perhaps that's the only option to benefit from both the sides. Most of the international political leaders do just the same when they visit India first and then go to Pakistan or vice versa. International diplomacy is all about preaching others exactly the opposite of what you practice. This has been abundantly clear from the statements of heads of superpowers in matters of democracy, nuclear weapons, and terrorism. Next time you hear or read a speech of a politician of international standing, try to understand how much of what he says is true. If you do not get carried away by his boastful tone and the manner of presentation, you will realize the extent of truth in what he says. This nuance of hypocrisy is not limited to politicians. In fact, it is the most common factor cutting across all walks of life and age groups. I've seen people boasting of their imported possessions in their houses and yet talking of how they use only the goods made in India. Similar is the case of professors who profess the need for education in mother tongue and send their children to English medium schools. I have therefore decided not to waste my energy in analyzing the real meaning of each of the utterances of such people and politicians in particular. They say that in politics, no one is your permanent friend or foe. So, think twice before becoming friendly with a politician. I really pity those who go out of their way to make friends with those in power, for they know not that a politician will think twice before letting them be around him, and that sheer company does not guarantee any favors from the former. You will be a hypocrite of the highest order if you do not keep your word. Make promises, but never keep them. If somebody catches you on this, like a good journalist, you should quickly say that your words are twisted or misinterpreted. In short, you should be quick in putting the blame on others. Hypocrites are good at telling lies. They do not realize that telling a lie is straining your memory beyond its limits. You have too much to remember as to whom you had told what. So it's better to speak the truth at the very first instance if you do not wish to strain your memory and suffer from memory loss with advancing age. Unless you master the art of gossiping, you cannot become a good hypocrite. All hypocrites would praise you on your face, but do not utter a single good word about you behind your back. So, you would do well in cultivating this art of double talk. Hypocrites also have double standards, as we saw earlier. I've seen women in their late 50s when they become a mother in law from both sides. That is, as a mother of a son and a daughter. If the son is well to do and the daughter in law is not working to supplement the son's income, they would boast that their daughter in law is not required to earn money. On the other hand, if their daughter is working for any reason, economic or otherwise, they again boast that their daughter is economically independent. The $1 million question is, why do people become hypocrites? In all probability, they either have an inferiority complex or a jealousy. To cover up both, they tell lies, boast, or criticize so as to get a sadistic pleasure. And obviously, they know that more than sincerity, hypocrisy fetches quick results in their favor. My dear friends, that hypocrisy is a sin is undoubtedly true. I do not blame our good old teacher for having twisted his words and asked my fellow classmates to copy in the school leaving exam. He taught me the very first lesson in how not to be a hypocrite.